All right, Jeskai Aggro. So white aggro is a format staple. I think it's one of the better aggressive decks in the format. I really love the card Heroic Reinforcements, though. This is a threat off the top in the mid game that also kicks your entire team up. So this is basically a white aggro with a double splash. We're mostly splashing blue for some sideboard counterspells, but because we have sideboard counterspells anyways, I'm playing a couple of Dovin bans in the main as well as a third in the sideboard. Dovin is a card in this deck that I like to refer to as bad history, as a reference to History of Benalia. He just does a similar thing to History of Benalia, that he makes more bodies over turns, which are good with heroic reinforcements. They're good with our Ascend creatures. But he also, in the mid-range and control matchups, can generate some card advantage for us to kind of pull us through that mid-game to, like, find us heroic reinforcements to punch through those last points of damage. Let's see here. Where are we starting? We're starting at 217 on the Mythic ladder, so hopefully this one will be able to pull us up a little bit. Hopefully we have a good set with this and we can just coast into the end of the season in top 1,000. Morning, Engineer. No, we actually played Legacy this morning. We played Legacy Belcher, which is just always fast, good, bad, or otherwise. The sand is fine. Now, this is definitely a matchup where having a bunch of shock lands in our deck is a little bit of a downside. If they attack with a Firebrand, I'm going to block. They're just not giving me the option. Makes sense. Net decking's great. Magic's a really complicated game. It's tough. It's tough to have enough time to play a ton of Magic. Even I play a ton of Magic. I don't have enough time to figure out how I want to build every deck that I build. So it's like, History is an awesome draw here. How did Gates go yesterday? Gates was the deck that pulled us up a good bit. I think we finished at like 300 or so with that yesterday. And then I played a couple of matches off stream with Black White Aristocrats. See, I actually was like 150 yesterday before I went to bed. Yeah, he's dead, Jim. Do you have another burn spell? I am snapping the street here. Just want to be as defensive as possible, I think. A little bit of flood is real good for us. So, yeah, I say I'll bet we'll see this hit me, and then we'll see Skewer hit the Marshal. And then, honestly, I think I'm just going to go ahead and trade these here. Our average card quality is probably a little bit higher than theirs, especially with draws like this in our deck. So, I think it's right to play defense here. I'm hesitant to refer to the ladder as the best anything, but we're the top ranked, which more is a metric of like playing a lot than anything else. All right, so Loxodon's pretty slow in this matchup. Both Baffling End and Tocatli Honor Guard are pretty reasonable. I like Dovin as well. I think we cut Skymarcher. We just want to like trim down on some of our things that die to Goblin Chain Whirler. And I think I trim a Marshal for a similar reason. I'm boarding in a Dovin, so I kind of want to cut my curve a little bit. We don't, not only is Venerated Loxodon not play well with Tocatli on our guard, but tapping our creatures when we're often playing a defensive role is not ideal. So I think I like this. I don't think I want Negates in this matchup. It's possible that some heroic reinforcements could go out on the draw. Loxodon's just kind of a good game 1 card. It's a card that often gets sideboarded out, but it just like allows you to put a lot of pressure into play when you just want to be as proactive as possible. Tribunal for frenzies. Maybe it's tough to be able to use Tribunal efficiently in this matchup just because you want to be blocking a lot of the time. Just left a 10-day hospital stay yesterday after donating my liver, so I'll be laid up watching a ton of this stream while I regrow it and regain the ability to move physical objects. Well, I hope you feel better, dear Hulk, and your recovery goes well. Good to have you here. This is fine. It's a little bit land heavy, but it goes 1, 2, 3, which is about all I can ask for, I think. You could maybe argue that because I have a bunch of shock lands, this hand could potentially be a mulligan. Just because, like, while I curve, a lot of my hands curve, and my lands are going to hurt me a little bit here. Especially when you're on the draw in this matchup, the mantra is trade early, trade often. So if they attack here, I'm just snapping this block. Especially with these lands that are going to be dealing damage to me, I just want to, like, try and make the game go a little bit longer. I want to make their spectacle cards worse, etc. Sure. Scale of 1 to dead. Where's this Marshal at? Phoenix. That's a reason to leave my... Huh. Phoenix is a reason to leave my tribunals in. Yep. Well, at least Dovin's gonna gain me a lot. How does Angels beat Niv Mizzet? Play a Mortify? Be luckier is a great piece of advice.
This is a rare occasion. I'm not often wrong.
Beep beep. This is that's a great rip, not only because it puts a lot of damage into play, but it flips the Adanto. Let's be honest, history's almost always a great that card's almost always a great rip. Well, those are really good last couple from the opponent. I expect them to attack with this and leave G2 Lava Runner back. Heroic reinforcements. Rats. Yeah, there should definitely be tribunals in my deck right now. That was a mistake. That doesn't have a trigger due to Tocatli, but it's probably still the game for us. So I think I just take this hit. Because if I draw a... Nah, I'm going to chump block the E2. Because if I draw a Heroic Reinforcement, they still block 2 and take 8. So Heroic is still lethal even if I block. So because Heroic is lethal regardless. Oh, I guess it's... I guess now it's not lethal if they shoot one of my things. I should have thought about a spectacle card. Yeah. So, like, now Heroic isn't lethal. Hey, Chase. Love my Hoglandia. Hope you enjoy your shirt. Get that. Notifications work. Alright. So I mis-sideboarded a little bit. And we flooded a little bit, and we're mis-sideboarded a little bit. So let's fix that. Let's get these Conclaves in my deck. Let's try this. Emrakul, thank you for the 9 months. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good Thursday. Almost to the end of the week here. Hey, Bardic. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 sub and for the 31 months. That's a long time. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one. Do we want Stroke over Conclave? No, Detroit, don't. It's so weird to me that people always want to bring in Stroke against the red decks. Just, we'd much rather have cards that play to the board. You don't want incredibly narrow cards that are likely to be dead in your hand. That's not where you want to be in life. I'm going to be greedy and keep that. If there are 2 lands underneath that card, this hand's insane. If we brick on land, we're going to be a little bit sad, but man, if we hit. It might have been right to lead on this over this, but this can protect the Tocatli next turn, which is nice. JK, LOL. Weird that they... That shock is weird to me. Like, if they had the shock, why wouldn't they shock the 1/1? And then... Why wouldn't they shock the 1/1? And then attack for 2 last turn? I mean, I guess I'll take it. I guess I'll take it, but seems weird. Yeah, trimming my Baffling End was probably wrong. I probably need all my things in this matchup. I wonder if this matchup is hard. It seems tough. They go land, Chain Whirler. I'm probably dead here. Yeah, we're gaining life, but the problem is my opponent has a lot of creatures in play here. Yep. One of the things about playing these aggro decks, like white aggro and red aggro, and even blue to a degree, I feel like there's not a lot of agency in your games, like compared to like the more mid-range decks. I feel like a lot of it is just like, do we have the thing? If we have the thing, they die. If we don't have the thing, we lose. Really looking forward to the new mulligan rule where you no longer have to keep speculative hands like this. Just get to make an informed decision and like leverage our play skill a little bit instead of just like hoping to gamble. Sultai matchup's very hard for this archetype. They get to play Jade Light Ranger next turn and we can just no longer win the game. Yikes. So if I throw away both my 1/1s this turn, I can flip this. Alright, that means I don't have to throw them away at least. If we fade Explore Creatures and Hostage Takers, maybe we have a shot here. Maybe. Like gain 12. Draw 2, gain 12, add 6 power to the table. I think Depose Deploy is just incredibly slow. Get some jam. Also, like, if you look back on those games we lost to the red deck, and you think about why we lost the games, the Depose Deploy doesn't really have text or impact why we lost the games. You just, like, take a step back and think about, like, what caused us to really be losing. Hey, Greg. Thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I want to cut. I think I want to cut Marshal. At least a couple. Then bringing in other more expensive threats. Okay. So we're hoping to draw 2 lands in the next 2 turns. One thing of note is that this build does play 2 more lands than a lot of these other decks do. So hopefully we can curve 3-4 here. A 1-drop was actually a good draw this turn, so we want to hit a white source for Marshal next turn so we can attack into this Wild Growth Walker, and then Heroic Reinforcements for the following 2 turns. And of course, this is Magic the Gathering, so they played a 1-3, and I missed my land drop, so now we just lose the game on the spot. But again, high variance game, decks like this don't feel like they have a lot of agency in them. Just kind of like, alright, I kept my thing, I'm like hoping to get there. They get to gain 6. Their thing gets big enough that we can't attack. So, like, now, even if I hit my land this turn, we're far enough behind that, like, the land is no longer relevant. We drew another 4-mana card. And we're done. We ran good with Gates yesterday and laddered up a bunch. We're going to run bad with Jeskai Aggro this morning and ladder down a bunch. I was hoping to bat about 500 and like maybe finish in the top 200 today where we were close to, but sometimes variance finds a way. We played Legacy Belcher this morning, which is a really fast deck. Win or lose. We went 2 and 3 and none of the matches took more than like 8 minutes. It is just the law of cumulative variance, you're not wrong. Andre Strowski had tweeted the other night that he went from top 100 to like 95% to back to top 100 in the course of the day. Just like rubber banding all around. And then there's a lot of matchup variants tied in here too. Like, I feel like we haven't played against much Sultai on the ladder recently. And then, like, Sultai is the worst matchup possible for this deck. And we've now played against it 2 of the 3 matches that we've played today. Just kinda how it goes. Looks like this one doesn't have Wild Growth Walker on too, though. So we got that going for us. Dude Light, thanks for the tier 2 resub. I appreciate that. And thanks for all the sub gifties. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Seems pretty good at least. So, like, history pops off next turn, and then we play another history, and then we play Venerated Loxodon, and then we get to heroic reinforcements the following turn. So there's a good chance that if they don't play an elf to ramp into finality here, that they're gonna die. I had someone comment in chat about should we been playing this deck in leagues because it's unproven. 2 things. 1, this is not an unproven deck. This archetype is one of the better decks in the format. 2 is that if you like listen to the things that I'm talking about here in chat, if you look at the games, it has nothing to do with proven or unproven. If you look at why we're losing games of Magic, it's just we're missing land drops. We're having all these things happen that are just bad beats that are outside of your control. It doesn't matter if your deck is proven, unproven, or otherwise. Sometimes you're just gonna die. That's part of Magic. This is a game where the best players in the world have a good day if they win 70% of their matches, and most players win far less than that. Being able to take a step back and like sort out when you made mistakes versus when you just got unlucky is one of the toughest parts about Magic. Like here, look, this matchup's hard, but we drew spells and lands, so we killed them. Opponent didn't play Wild Growth Walker on 2. We drew lands and spells, they died. You consider just blaming the shuffler, right? I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in Disdainful Stroke in this matchup. I could potentially be oversideboarding. I wonder if Stroke is good. On the draw, it doesn't seem unreasonable. Hostage Taker is, like, incredibly annoying, but I also like bringing in Tocatli to deal with that. So he took Smothering Super Friends into 2 leagues, 5-0 and 5-1. Clearly the best deck from yesterday. Now, I think Stroke's much better than Negate because Stroke tags Hostage Taker, which is a card that I definitely care about. I don't think Stroke's just prolonging a game. I think Stroke, like, stopping a key card from happening is, like, really big upside, and that's what Stroke is going to do a lot of the time. I'm going to lead on History rather than Dovin, because I don't want Dovin to just immediately get pressured out of the game. Getting History going lets me work towards popping it off, which powers this up as well as this. So decks on my Stream Decker aren't decks that we've automatically played Jaffinity. So like when I have a build around deck submission, so like Esper Party Bus is the 3rd deck we're playing today. So when I build the deck, I upload it to my Stream Decker to link it in the spreadsheet. So to answer your question, no, you have not missed it. Yep. So I could double Snubhorn this turn, which gives me 3/3s for next turn. That doesn't really accomplish anything, right? Like, the 3/3s can't really attack in. Morning, Hacksaw. Yep. Now my knights can't attack in because the wild growth walkers are 3/5s. Oh. All right. Deal. I guess they're not in any danger of dying on the backswing, right? They're at 28 because Wild Growth Walker's messed up. I think I'm gonna play... I could play the other Dovin out and then plus him. So I'm gonna attack with a bunch of things here, right? And then I get to flip this Legion's Landing over and like go double Snubhorn Sentry. Yeah, that's the point though, Fatal Roundhouse, is it's not about proven or disproven. It's about just that's why it's important to be able, especially if you're going to be brewing decks and working with new ideas or changing established decks. Morning AMV, thanks for the biddies. You have to be able to take a step back and look at things and go, why did I lose this game? Did I lose this game because my deck is bad, because it's unproven? Did I lose this game because I made bad decisions? Or did I lose this game so we just got a little bit unlucky? And like being able to sort through those differences can be difficult in Magic. Yay, gain 12. There's a good chance that the Dovin ult doesn't get us out of this. We played Legacy this morning, and it went very quickly. Why would you attack with the elf? We played Belcher, so it's kind of mediocre. Yeah, it's kind of absurd when you think about it, how much better Wild Growth Walker is than Termagwave. Alright, so what's my out here? Grinding with Legion's Landing might help us get out of this. So I'm going to take a Legion's Landing, a Heroic Reinforcements, and a Baffling End to get rid of one of these walkers. So, like, what's my route to victory look like? I think it looks like Baffling End on one of these Wild Growth Walkers. And then Legion's Landing's going to get to flip when I attack here. So this is going to get to start making 1/1s every turn. And then I have Snubhorn Sentry. I think I just shock this in. So that way I don't get randomly blown out by something. think I'm just activating Adanto for now. I also think I'm leaving this back because they're at so much life. And I don't want them to, like, randomly have enough removal spells to punch through all my blockers. Although maybe this is being too conservative. It's a real shame Dovin didn't get to 8 and stick around. If Dovin would have stuck around, we would have been in an amazing spot. Okay. So I'm going to hold on to this heroic reinforcements for now, because I just want to hold up Disdainful Stroke / the Adanto activation. And if I hit one more land drop, I'm going to be able to activate Adanto and play heroic in the same turn. So now I can actually do this. No, this is silly. I'm just going to hang tight for now. I wonder if they hit Find. They're mousing over their graveyards. They might have hit Find. Yep. We're actually grinding here a bit on the back of Adanto, which is sweet. I think I'm okay with this. If we hit a Planeswalker, we'll be in a great spot. Congrats, Demir. The Marshal lets all my 1/1s attack into the 4/3 with heroic reinforcements, which is sweet. It's unfortunate that I don't have. It's unfortunate that I don't have another what's it called? Another red source, so I can't rip a second heroic reinforcements and double hero. Is that lethal over the course of the next 2 turns? So what happens this turn if I heroic? So I can actually make a token in heroic. So if I make a token in heroic, it gives me 5 attackers, 6, 7. So they block 3, they block this, and 2. And then I hit them for 10. So do I want to stroke this Crisis? I don't think I do. I think I do, I mean. I think I do this. And attack. Oh, is it lethal? Oh, I was only counting 3 per. Or 2 per. It's 3 per. Did I miss lethal? They would have blocked 1, 2, 3, and they'd have taken... No, I can only deal 15 here. This is fine. This game was a great example of the power of Dovin, by the way. We would not have pulled through this game without the Dovin ultimate. Flipping the other... Oh, this would have given me another attacker. I would say flipping it doesn't matter, but getting another attacker does. I think it's okay. Heroic Reinforcements is a heck of a drug. Slow and steady. Slowly competing our cast red and black spells quest. I'm short on mythic wild cards because Jeff is the wild card destroyer. You're not wrong. It's fine. Needs to draw some lands, but pretty reasonable otherwise. I think we lead on Dauntless Bodyguard, so we can attack for 2 on turn 2. Doesn't get to protect anything, but just a 2 1-on-1, as ID said. Yep. Yep. I think against a red deck, I want to play Tithe Taker first. Hopefully we draw land so we can go history into Heroic Reinforcements. Well, they're playing Drakes. Tithe Taker's still probably better to lead on there. Now we really want to hit the land so we can history while they don't have Spell Pierce up. They could be the Phoenix build as well, though. Discovery Shock doesn't really tell us specifics about what they're doing. Radical cards like Radical Idea and Goblin Electromancer are the things that tip us off whether or not they're Phoenix or something else. Enigma Drake can indicate that they're playing the Just Drake's build as opposed to what Phoenix is. They left both cards on top. Well, that's scary. Which Vivian is best for the Explore Wild Growth deck? There's more than one Vivian. I have 5 mana Vivian if there's more than. Do you mean Vraska? Is that what you're talking about? There's multiple Vraskas. Alright, so Enigma Drake likely signifies that they're playing, There's a Planeswalker deck Vivian. I guess that makes sense. Yep. Alright, so open to draw a land in the next 2 cards. Alright, so what happens if I fire up an attack this turn? It's probably not good for me, right? The problem is next turn this can get spell pierced, but I think I want to wait to do this until I have History of Benalia pop off. Because if I do this turn, they have these as 2/4s, and all of these are 3/2s. They just get to, like, eat my Dauntless Bodyguards. So it's like, I'd be, like, trading my 2 Dauntless Bodyguards for, like, 9 points of damage, which I don't think is worthwhile. I guess it's, like, 11 points of damage. Maybe that is worth it. I don't know, they have to hold up 2 mana to Spell Pierce me, and even if they do have Spell Pierce, like, History of Benalia is popping off and making this, and this bigger, which is, like, pretty reasonable for me. So, even if Reinforcements doesn't resolve, we're still in an okay spot here. Beep, beep. Ashiok with the 17-month resub. Thank you very much and welcome back. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Sure. I was gonna say, that's a super aggressive attack. And they can't play anything. Because, I have a Tithe Taker. So if they block, if they like try and eat this, I don't know, figure it out. Please be dead or not have lethal on the backswing. That's the hope here. The hope is that they're either dead or don't have lethal on the backswing. If they block this and try and eat my other things, they die, right? No, they don't. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so I think maybe I was supposed to heroic the previous turn. I don't know. Yeah, these blocks are really good for the opponent. And then like if they have like a shock or anything that burned me, like there's a good chance we die on the backswing here. I don't have a better line here. Like I said, these decks and decks like it don't have a ton of what I would refer to as agency. You don't have a ton of play to it. You're kind of just like, all right, I'm attacking you with my stuff, and I hope you die. Hoping that the cards that I draw line up well into beating you. My one meaningful decision this game was heroic reinforcements versus the Snubhorn Sentry on 4, and I think it was right to play Snub. It's not good for me. They only need to put 3 cards in their bin to kill me. This puts 2, so they just need to cast 1 more. They discarded a Search for Azcanta. Am I not dead? What is in their hand? Yeah, mate, do they have no non-creature spells? What? I would like to attack with everything. Play your cards and hope they're good enough. Play your cards and hope they're good enough. Yikes. I mean, I'll take it, I guess. I'm not one to complain. Your Honor, I would like to attack with everything. Do I want Baffling End in this matchup? Maybe I want some of them, but not all of them. Is that possible? I want some, but not all. The fact that it doesn't hit Crackling Drake is bad, but the fact they have Enigma Drake probably indicates there's Terramanders hiding out. What do I want to trim here? Skymarcher's probably not very good. I guess it blocks their flying stuff. Trimming some of my stuff that dies to their deal 2 to everything's probably not unreasonable, though. I'm just gonna bring in 2 of these. I'm bringing 2 of these and Dovin to make chump blockers. I feel like having some amount of things to fog Drakes in the air could be game winning. Negate for Cannonade. I think it's incredibly difficult for us to hold up Negate for Cannonade in a lot of situations. I think if I had Spell Pierce, I'd probably bring it in, but I think hoping to be able to hold up 2 mana on a turn where they fire off Cannonade is pretty unlikely. They did only play basic lands that game, so they could be on a bit of a budget mana, or they could have just drawn basics, right? Like, Blue-Red Drake just plays a lot of basic lands. They're only a 2-color deck. He's just too slow, and like 4 mana cards that get Spell Pierced are kind of a liability. I actually thought maybe about boarding some of these out even. So I really want to draw a 1 or 2 drop this turn and then draw land the following 2 turns. Yeah, Ajani's +1 is, like, useful for, like, being able to attack through the Drakes, but at the same time, he just dies very quickly a lot of the time. No, the matches where you're bringing in counter spells, you don't want to be, you don't need to be countering creatures a lot of the time. And the few creatures you do need to be countering, Disdainful Stroke covers just fine. Things like Hostage Taker. Alright, so I'd really like to draw lands the next 2 turns. The thing we really don't want to draw are spells we can't cast. Maybe I'm supposed to lead on Dovin because they're holding up Spell Pierce here. I can see that. Because they have... God, son of a... I hate that. I still get that caught for Magic Online sometimes. So, on Magic Online, when you press your pass turn button, it still stops and lets you attack. And on Magic Arena, it doesn't do that. So I still trip myself up on occasion and miss damage because of it. I think it's important that I just do this now while they're tapped out. So I missed 2 points of damage because I clicked the wrong button. That probably means it ends sometime today, but not right away. If I had to venture a guess. I feel like we're in a bad spot. Drake's a big boy. Still haven't seen Terramander out of them. I assume there's some amount of removal spells in their hand that are going to make my Marshal real sad. Yep. Dovin going to do his best Lingering Souls impersonation this game for us, it looks like. When you sack Bodyguard to put in the yard instead of Lava Coil Exile, it's just reflex rate. No, it's just technically correct to sacrifice it, Raymile. It's all upside to give my other thing indestructible. Can you name a downside, potential downside for me? Because I don't have any. Feels like all upside. Why is my opponent sequencing super weird? They wanted the Charter Course post-combat, so they didn't have to discard a card, is basically what happened. Discarding would have pumped their Drake. Yeah, they assessed that they were in a position where they'd rather have more cards in their hand rather than getting more points of damage on their Drake. They assessed that they were in a control role, which seemed reasonable at the time based on the amount of cards they had. Yep, game 3 on the play is a great place to be with my aggro deck. Let's do it. Legion's landing on 1, gets a little bit less damage in, but it lets me attach my Dauntless Bodyguard to something, which is nice. Next turn, we get to flip Legion's Landing and then go History plus Snubhorn, which is sweet. Pretty solid start for us on the play. Our board is, like, not the worst against a Fiery Cannonade on 3 either, just because, like, this Bodyguard's protecting this token. And then History. History things die, but that's it. Don't we always need reinforcements of the heroic variety? Now that does make us a little bit worse against Fiery Cannonade here, because I do want to play this, but I can't flip the Legion's Landing yet now. And if they do cannonade us, it means that I'm not going to have enough permanents to get Snubhorn going anytime soon. So we're really looking to dodge cannonade this turn. If they we want them to just, like, play a Drake out, basically. Yeah, we're about to get cannonaded. Yep, they're waiting for this to pop off. Magic. An incredibly frustrating low variance game. You're gonna need to draw a lot of reinforcements and histories in a row from here on out. They have 6 cards in their hand, so probably dead. So we have an 0-3. And this history is going away next turn, which, like, moves us 1 permanent further away from being able to turn this Snubhorn into something relevant. So we currently have 8 permanents. We're going down to 7. This is +1 permanent, because the other Legion's Landing has to go away. I'm going to go ahead and Conclave Tribunal, using all 3 of these, just because I prefer to play around Spell Pierce. Hey, Genesis, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. They have a Dive Down. Is that a card they left in their deck post board? Just opt. God bless. Alright, so we're up to 6, 7, 8, 9 permanents. So any permanent lets Snubhorn Sentry flip next turn. And I guess if they don't kill any of our stuff, I could attack, flip the Legion's Landing, make a token with that. As always, when we're in positions like this, we're kind of just, like, hoping to draw heroic reinforcements. It's just the best card in our deck. If they have a Drake, we want to draw a removal spell. A little unfortunate that we had to burn a Conclave Tribunal on Enigma Drake, since that one would die to Baffling End. Deacon Bolt's annoying. Hey, we drew a land. Yay, magic. Animated Mellow, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Andrew Benson, thanks for the quarter of a year. I'm pretty surprised I haven't seen anyone else win the game heroic and blue-white aggro. Thanks for the quarter of a year. Alright. Still pierce me. I'm done. Alright, let's try one more before we move along with our lives. This is why I spend a lot of time playing things like Climb and Aristocrats and other decks like that. Because even, like, when you play decks like this that are the better decks in the format, there's still so much variance. Like, you're not going to win that many more than 50% of your games anyways, unless you're running extra hot. Yeah, this deck, I don't know, it also just isn't generating, like, super interesting games of Magic. Just kind of like doing our thing, or don't do the thing and we die. We hit the land at least, that's a good start. Baby steps. If we hit the land next turn, we get to History of Benalia, that would be great. Wonder if they're playing against Gates or if we're playing against the Nexus deck. Breeding Pool probably indicates Nexus. Missed a land drop and died. Hey, Hammy, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome, welcome. Well, that's better for us than Growth Spiral, I guess. And you know what the funny part is, too? If you watch these games that I'm playing where, like, we've played a bunch of games where I just, like, died because I've been missing land drops, this deck plays 2 more lands than most of these blue-white aggro decks play. These white-based aggro decks play. A lot of the white-based aggro decks, like I spent last night looking at deck lists to update this one a little bit before we played it today, a lot of these decks play 20 lands. And to facilitate my splash, I added the Steam Vents and another extra duel. It's like, I don't know how people get away with playing so few. They must be far luckier than I am. Yeah, if they don't have a thing, Tribunal is good here. Do they have a sabotage? They could have another blink of the eye too, though. Just get my stirs. Okay, so I get to attack for 2 here, and then they are actually dead next turn, right? Like I'm attacking them for 2. Oh my god, I did it again! Oh my god, I did it again. It's been a while since I've done it twice in the same day. I just pressed my auto pass key, expecting to get to attack. I really wish there was a setting for that. Yeah, they're still dead on board. It's just annoyed with myself. The difference between hitting them and not is that they only have to block or bounce one of these. So like if they have a bounce spell, they're not dead anymore because I clicked through that attack. It's also relevant in the face of root snares. So like now I only have 6. I guess I have 11. Okay, so that's fine. I'm gonna say the difference is if they're at 8 versus 10. So like now, if they bounce the Snubhorn, they're not dead, where they would be dead if I'd have hit them to 8. I haven't really played in any of the MTGA unique events. One of my favorite things about playing Magic is like working and iterating on decks, and like the events are so short-lived, you don't really get a meaningful chance to do that. Go Reed, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Is there an avoid Nexus button one can toggle in the settings? Yeah, you have to play best of one. The banning of Nexus in best of one was a secret ploy to get the rest of us to play best of one. If I attack like this, I flip this over, and then I can make a thing and play an elephant. And then they're still dead next turn. I think I do that. So I'm like trading a 2/2 for a 1/1. The good news is they probably won't be expecting counterspells post-board. We haven't shown them blue mana. Alright, the question is, do I get another turn? And if I get another turn, do I get a combat step that does anything? These bodyguards are just the stone cold worst because it means I don't get to auto pass. I have to sit here and keep clicking OK. Well, that means we're either not getting another turn or we're not getting a combat step during that turn. The auto pass keys in Arena leave a lot to be desired compared to MTGO. Where fair's fair. Like, same thing talking about, like, if I press my turn key, can you please stop and let me attack? Like, that would be ideal, I think. Being able to actually auto pass when I have nothing to do would be ideal. And this is the tedious part about playing against the Nexus decks. Like, my opponent's not guaranteed to kill me here, but I have to sit and wait to find out if I'm actually dead. I have to sit here and keep clicking. Like, I'm probably dead, but they don't have a search for Azcanta to guarantee these things. They have these Chemister's Insights, so maybe that's enough, but, like, they need to hit 3 more turns. No, it basically doesn't, Vent Faith. The pass until end of turn is basically just tedious and bad. Yeah, it gives you priority back anyways. We're statistically dead. I'm gonna stop wasting our time. I think Dovin's good here because he can draw us counter spells. Conclave Tribunal is fine. Dovin also helps hit this sooner. I'm going to cut some of my other more expensive things so it's easier to hold up counter spells. Expand the stack. There is a stack expand thing that happens, but the stack has to be really big for it to come up, I believe. I definitely think it doesn't come up soon enough. I agree with that assessment. Yeah, honestly, an actual auto pass button would be super punishing for Nexus players. Because I think there's a lot of people that just, like, concede just because they have to keep engaging with the client. And if they could actually auto pass while, like, watching Netflix or doing something else efficiently on their second monitor, people would stop playing Nexus on the ladder because it wouldn't be a good use of their time anymore. Oh, maybe this keeps bad. Yeah, probably should have gone to 5. Yeah, it's a lot of extra work though, Con. Yeah, I agree with that, Mazer. This hand with the blue source is better than the average 5. I think that is an accurate assessment. So what are you hoping to draw? Like blue mana or History of Benalia? Tithe Taker wouldn't be bad. Conclave Tribunal's okay. Just like that. From 200 back to the 99%. I don't think I'm going to play this deck anymore this season. It's... If you want to beat people down, it's fine. The just blue splash is fine. The just red splash is fine. I just feel like the games aren't what I find to be very interesting, and I don't feel like I have a lot of agency when I'm playing them. I feel like I don't have a lot of impactful decisions past my mulligan process. Like, all of your decisions that go into playing this deck go into sideboarding, how you sideboard, and what hands you keep. Like, the decisions you make once you're actually playing the game tend to automatically be made for you in a majority of the games. It's just correct to, like, play your cards on curve and hope it kills them. So, let's move along. Well, and that's part of something, that's part of the thing about the form. We talked about this earlier in the set. Like, someone said, for as good as this deck is post up to be, I feel like I lose a lot. Even the best decks in this format don't win that much more than a lot of the other, like, random good brews that we played, like Abzan Hero and Black-White Aristocrats and these other decks like Sultai and the Nexus decks and decks like this and Red. Like, you're not winning that much more often with them. So if you don't genuinely enjoy the play patterns that they have, you definitely shouldn't play these over another deck that's, like, slightly lower in power level that you actually enjoy playing. Because, like, your win rate isn't going to be high enough